Yeah, man. Oh my gosh. Greatness. Greatness. 7 billion people on this planet. 7 billion people on Earth in the world. And yet this less than 500 million great people have been great, been exceptional, being special. Now, how does one get from being an average Joe to becoming great, to becoming special, to becoming talked about? A lot of people born with talent and skill, they happen to just land right on that industry, field, career. They happen just be born into that, what they great and they happen to find it in life. It's just that's their first call. Yeah, this is the first call. Imagine if um LeBron James is going to the NFL instead of NBA. If Jay-Z is going to the NFL, it's going to the NBA instead of doing music. Yeah, imagine if Serena Williams is going to athletics instead of tennis. Imagine if Usain Bolt is going to cricket instead of athletics. Imagine if Mandela has stayed and just practiced law instead of become um, a human rights or civil rights activist. Imagine if Fela had just stayed in London and just done music instead of come back home and fight with people, being an activist, use his voice, train his mind, engage his brain. Imagine if all these great people, imagine if all these great people never found their calling. The world would be a really boring place. The world would be just like your life today. Just look at yourself. The world would be just like yourself, your life today. Just existing, just flowing from A to B. Like water in the tank from one corner to the other. Imagine if these talented people never found their talent. Imagine if Andy Murray never found tennis. Do you know where Andy Murray is from? Dublin. Dublin in Scotland. How many of you have ever heard about Dublin before? And still worse, how many of you has ever been to Dublin? I grew up in Scotland, so I know where Dublin is. Yeah, I know where Dublin is. Imagine if Andy Murray never found tennis. Maybe he played for um, maybe for Rangers or for being from Dublin. Maybe he played for Livingston or for um, you know Sterling Albions or even Celtics. He probably would have just been an average footballer. Yeah, just like what happened to Michael Jordan when he tried his hands at baseball. Imagine what happened. Or when is it Everland or Edberg when he left tennis to go and try his hand and now he retired from tennis because he was such a great tennis player. Then he he tried his hand at golf. He was average. That's what happens when you ignore your talent. When it comes knocking and you hiding behind the sofa because you're too scared to take a step. You're too scared to let your voice be heard. You're too scared to do that thing that God gave you. And then you pray, you pray, you pray. But then the skill, the gift is right there in front of you every day. You make use of it, but then you ignore it or you refuse to put in the work. And it's like talent. You just keep drawing down on it, till it's exhausted. So imagine if all these great people have mentioned and more. Imagine if Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, imagine if all these great people never took a step, took a stand, used their voices, committed their life, sacrificed their life. Imagine if all these people were too scared, were too afraid, become a coward. Yeah, a coward to take a step because why? They found the human comfort zone. Imagine the thing about greatness is greatness does not care where you came from. Greatness does not care about your dress. No, greatness does not care about your postcode, your zip code. Greatness doesn't care about where you were born, what happened to you as a child. Greatness does not care about that. In fact, that's what makes you even greater. Because despite your past, despite what happened to you, you became a light to others. Others can inspire to be you. They could use your experience. They could stand on your shoulders. That's what greatness is. Greatness is in you. Don't let it die. Don't let your greatness die. I read Lil Linton's book, 92 books of communication, 92 rules of communication. And she said, what stands between yourself and a college professor who's got like an amazing vocabulary is about 50 words, 50 words, just 50. If you could go day by day, just change your everyday word, the words you use every day, you could change this either through looking into a dictionary, encyclopedia, books of synonyms, just change your average words every day. Before you know it, you're sounding like a college professor because why? You've making a step, you've invested in yourself, you're finding your voice. It takes years for a lot of us to find our voice. Why? Because we're so scared. Not because we haven't got, because we're so scared of outside this influence, what people are gonna say, how they're gonna take us, how they're gonna perceive us, how they're gonna judge us. And then you rather just die, shut your mouth and say nothing. And live the rest of your life looking over the bridge where you should have been. pretending to be content on this side of the bridge, and when you die slowly inside of yourself every day, every day. Greatness is he who leaps from the edge. You jump off, you like, because why? You have prayed, and you know why? When you pray, God lifts you up. God gives you wing. So you jump, you take that jump, you take that leap of faith. That yeah, I have prayed, because for prayer, praying is unto God. For praying is unto God. So you have prayed all you can pray. You know why? You have to do the work, because for work is human. Walking is human, while praying is for God. If you've done your praying, take the leap. If you've done your praying, take the leap, because the leap is for you. God is not going to push you. God is waiting for you to jump, and then he can gently lift you, and then you glide in. Have you ever seen those wingsuit jumpers? Yeah, they just take off, off the edge and just jump, and you think, oh, they're falling, and before you know it, they're coming back up. They just soaring like an eagle, soaring like an eagle. Why? Because they have faith in the wingsuit they've got on. They have faith in that. So why, if they can have faith, if someone could climb to the edge of like 2, 3, 500 feet or whatever, jump over a 23-story building, just on a wingsuit, something he's made himself, and he's so confident, like, I'm gonna jump off this building, I'm gonna be fine. I'm going to glide, I'm going to fly, I'm going to feel like a bird. Why? Because I have faith in this suit. If someone could have faith in that suit, how can you not have faith in God? That God, I have done the work. Right now, I am jumping. Why? Because you said for praying is for you, and for work is for me. Why? I have done my work. I have focused myself. I have improved myself. Every day I set goal for myself, and I must achieve this goal. If I don't achieve this goal, I am not going to bed, I'm not doing anything. And then you take the leap of faith. If you've done the work, if you have done the work, you have to jump now. You have no other option but to jump. Why? Because for praying is for God. You've done your bit. You've done your bit. Now you hold God responsible. I said, yes, hold God responsible, because why? You've done the work. And he said, work is for you. And you say, God, I have done my work, and you know what? I am jumping off this cliff. And you know why I'm jumping off this cliff? I don't even have to say, but you know I believe in you. For praying is for God, and for walking is for human. We are there to do the work. God has given us the talent, the skills. He found us when we have no address. For if you grew up in Lagos like I grew up, you had no address. You grew up in a neighborhood with no address. When someone's coming to look for you, you have no specific address. You just, I live in this area. That's it. Ask question, and someone stops at your bus stop and start asking about you. That's it. You have no address. I remember when I go travel to Ibadan to look for my mate. This was me 15 years old. I was still playing tennis on the 16, I remember. 15 years old. Travel to Ibadan. He just says, come get me a recreation club. That's it. So I go into the bus, Lagos to Ibadan, an hour and a half or whatever, because of the Nigerian bad road. I go to Ibadan, and I was asking question, how do I get to recruitment? How do I get to Ibadan Tennis Club? How do I get to Ibadan? Because there's no address. And Just from asking questions, I ended up at a different tennis club. And now they redirected me to Ibadan Recreation Club. Then when I got there, my mate wasn't in the club. And then they directed me to his house, to his neighborhood. And I have to keep going from get to from town to, yeah, till I found his house. There was no address. So you take that leap of faith. At the age of 15, I took the leap of faith that I'm gonna go look for my mate in Ibadan. Why? Because I needed to register for a tournament in the UK, and he has the invitation. There's no there's no um I mean those days you couldn't just, of course you could send letters and whatnot, but man, we went that, come on, from the hood would have this sophistication. We didn't have all those, so we did everything by brute force. You wanted something, you went there and got that. As a kid, you asked questions without wondering what the other person is going to say. What changed you? What brought this whole shame thing about saying I don't know, asking questions? What's all this about? Take a step, take a leap of faith, believe in your goal, jump off that cliff today. Don't leave it for tomorrow. Have you ever listened to I'm sure you've seen so many commercials on the internet, on the TV, and when they're trying to attract you to do something, they say, do it today, or we're gonna run out of stock. If you do it today, you get this percentage. If you don't do it today, that's limited stock available. They tell you do it today, do it now. Why? They're speaking to you in emotion with those few words: now, today, limited stock, book your place. When you come back, we might not be here. That's it. When you get back, when you wait and wait and wait, your spot might have been taken. So do it today. Do it now. Take the leap. Take the jump of faith. Believe in God. Spread your wings and fly like a bird. God said, praying, that's for me. Walking, that's for you. If you've done everything possible, you've set yourself goal, you follow your task, your daily task, you accomplish it step by step, incremental steps. You've taken that step. Now you have to jump. There's nothing left. The more you stand on that cliff, the more you contemplate what it looks like down there. You don't have the time. You just march on there and like, I'm gone. Catch me, God. I'm gone. That's what being great is. That's what great people do. They don't question it. Yeah, I have setback like the rest of us, but they kill it that same day. They're like, this has happened. I'm moving on. I don't have time to contemplate. I've got so many goals. They set so many goals. Every obstacle, they give it less time. They break it up, they investigate it, they learn from it, and they move on. Imagine if Andy Murray never picked up a tennis racket. The greatest player Britain has, Andy Murray, is from Dublin. It's not from some rich neighborhood, from rich parents, some fancy punchy. No, he's from Dublin. 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 Imagine that. Greatness does not care about your dress. Greatness does not care about where you're from. A lot of people slept on the street. They had no house. They had no shelter. Greatness does not care about that. Greatness cares about what is in you. There's a light in you. It's like a signal. It's picked up from the satellite. It's just beep, 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 beep. That's greatness. It's beeping in you consistently. And you're there trying to fighting everything in you can in your power to kill that greatness. No. Let the world see your greatness. Let the world see you. Imagine that. Andy Murray, the greatest player, could come from this island. Imagine if he never picked up a tennis racket. I mean, I've met Andy Murray a few times. Such an amazing guy. Imagine if he never picked up the tennis racket. Imagine that. Greatness. Greatness. That's it. Greatness has no address. There are a lot of great people in this world who came from nothing. Nothing. No education. No. When I say an education, I mean no formal education. These people educated themselves on the streets, in the environment. The environment was the greatest teacher. The environment taught them everything they knew. And why some gave into the environment, to the quick money, to the fast, you know, fast cars and women. Some of these, the great ones, they focused on the bigger picture. Imagine some of the rappers today who's come from the worst situation in life. Talk about Jay-Z, talk about 50 Cent, Dr. Dre, Eminem. These guys, they come from the worst of the worst. But they stood out. Why? Because they never gave into mediocre. They focus, they plan every day. They set a goal and they try to accomplish that goal every single day. When others were messing about sleeping, they're working on their craft. They're working on their craft. And that's how you become good, become great, by working on your craft. Set yourself a goal. Every day, say, today I must do this. If I don't do this, I don't go to sleep. I don't eat. I don't do any other thing. Anything I think gives me comfort has to come from this. This has to be my number one. When I do this today, then I could step do any other thing. Greatness. That's greatness. I remember when I started reading, when I started writing, I said to myself, you haven't come from, you know, an address. In fact, you had no address. I said to myself, you're addressless. Addressless. Yeah. I grew up in a neighborhood where there's no physical number. To where I grew up, it's just like an area. You guys just in that area. So when someone comes looking for me, they just keep asking questions. There's no address. So I had no address. So everything I had to persevere. I had to dedicate. I had to plan. I had to work it out. I had to execute step by step, day by day, little by little, incremental changes, gradual changes. Nothing comes easy. For everything that comes easy lives easily. Success is planned, is built over a period of time. You put in the work every day. It's like planting a crop and harvesting. You plant it and you maintain it. You water it. You cultivate. You look after it until it's time to harvest. You don't just wake up, bam. You put a seed in the soil today and tomorrow it's bloomed. No, this time you dedicate your time to it. You cultivate it. You look after it. You water it. Because why? You have faith. That's it. Most of us have faith. We don't even know. We have faith. Why? Because you have faith that when I put this little corn on the soil and water it, it's gonna give me 10 times, 100 times what I've sowed. I'm gonna reap. That's when you sow, you reap more. You don't reap what you sow. You reap more than you have sowed. That's it. When you put one single kernel on in the soil, you end up reaping 3 or 4 corn in the cobs, corn in the husk from just one corn. That's because you reap more than you sow. But first, you have to sow, and when you sow, you have to cultivate it, maintain it, look after it, water it. Why? Because you're preparing for harvest day, the day of judgment, the day you're about to leap. And God says, my son, I've been waiting for you. Where have you been? Why did it take you this long? And that's what greatness is. That's what greatness is. Yeah. When I was a kid, this was second nature to me. I woke up every day. I went for a run. I practiced tennis before and after school. Why? Because that was my goal. There was nothing else. I was keyed in. I was dialed in. That was it. I knew for me to get out of this neighborhood, for me to succeed, I have to be great in tennis. I had no other choice. University, nothing was more important to me than becoming great in tennis. So I put in work. I trained every single day. Every single day, I had go every single day. I did my run. I did my cardio. I ate right from as a teenager. I had no coach or nothing, but I knew I had greatness in me. I knew I had to get out of that neighborhood. I did it. I remember lunchtime. Some lunchtime I was like, I'm so hungry, man. I had no money. I had to run to Jerry where my mom had a store. She sold roasted corn. I had to run. I incorporated that into my daily exercise. I'm like, okay. I lived in Ikeja, right opposite Country Club. If you know Ikeja very well, behind Eku Hospital, Abule, down in the ghetto, down in the valleys. They actually call those valley people. Valley people like were some sort of lost Amazon tribes. Valley people, because we lived so close to the valley. Like you wake up sometime, erosion has taken your house. You wake up sometime, you down in the valleys. Erosion has just swallowed you or your whole house up. They call us valley people. Valley people were living on the edge of, because they had nowhere to go. They were just waiting, like, we're gonna stay. Basically, people stayed till the house fell into the valley. They called us valley people. And I looked at the huge houses, the beautiful houses around me. And I was living in the slum. I said, I gotta get out of this neighborhood. I've got to get out of this place. I've got to make a change in my life. I've got to be great. There is greatness in me. I've got to be great. So at the age of 15, I was still in high school. I went for a run every single morning. Yeah, every single morning I went for 1 hour run. Came back, had a shower, went to school. When I came back from school, I trained, put on my trainers, and I went for another run. And this time I ran from my place, from Abule. I ran all the way around the whole GRA. First, I ran towards Army Cantonment. I went through the back, Ladipo, went through that, and then went through GRA officers. Then I bust out onto where my mom is, sat down next to her, ate some corn, ate some pear, drank some water. Then I ran to to country club where I went to pick tennis ball as a ball boy, and that was my routine every day. Why? Because I knew the greatness in me. I had to get it out. I had a goal. I had a target. For me to get out of this situation, I had to be the best tennis player I could be in my age bracket. Now there were so many people around me, so many kids around me who were from the same neighborhood, who went to the same tennis club. But they never did the same. Like, and I never questioned it. In fact, some questioned why I was doing what I was doing. Some questioned it. They didn't care about what I was doing. Going for a run twice a day before you come to and being a ball boy was hard. It was hard. You're being a ball boy, a tennis ball boy to some rich cat who treated you coldly. I mean, I can remember the amount of time I've been smacked with the racket, kicked, insulted, spitted on, called son of a swine by some rich guy. But just because he was gonna give me 100 naira or 50 naira or 200 naira, 1,000 naira, whatever. He treated like a dog. So it was hard. It wasn't easy. It was hard. It wasn't an easy life. Being a ball boy in Lagos Country Club was hard. You had to constant. I think that you had to be. They intimidated you. They knew your parent. Your parent were like their gate man, their housemate. So who are you? They treated those people bad, so they had the right to treat you bad. I can remember the amount of times I've been insulted, abused, smacked, kicked, chased out of the club, and someone else will come and plead on my behalf. But then I persisted. And before this, I never took any notice of this. I just knew I had to be great. Because I looked around my neighborhood, there was no greatness. I knew there was something in me. I kept me going. They were pushing me every day, every day. Monday to Friday, I did the same thing. On the holidays, I even did more. Sometimes I ran from Ikeja to National Stadium and then back. There was no one to train against. I hit against the wall. I was hitting tennis ball against the wall for hours and hours and hours, trying to refine my skill. Because sometimes I had no money to go to stadium to train with the other kids from the island. Because most of the tennis players of my age, the best ones came from the island. I was the only one on the mainland, the only one on the mainland. So right from the start, I had massive obstacle to overcome. Because why? It was like a tribe. You're from the mainland, you're a different tribe. And these guys came from the same club, Lagos Lawn Tennis Club. They most came from there, friends, or from Ibadan, friends. There were two or three of them at every point in time. It was just me. But I knew, man, I had greatness in me. I had greatness in me. I had to fight tooth and nail to pull myself, to give myself the chance. And every time I go into qualifying to travel, now I'm playing against friends. Now they're planning against me. They sometimes they lose to each other just to make sure I don't qualify for maybe West African tour or South African or something. But most time I still end up winning, coming forth. But then I remember when I played the under 14 qualification. I beat every single person in that tournament. I lost, no, I think I lost one or so. But I came up the number one, ready to go to Egypt. That was it, ready to go to Egypt. You know what? Some rich guy in the tennis club just said, oh, you know, they're going to take their son. Their son was in private school. He never saw National Stadium for one day. He never did any training. I never saw him when I was going for runs. When I was climbing the stairs at the National Stadium. I never, no. They left me behind. And they took this kid right from the private school. They took him to Egypt to represent my country, Nigeria. After I have put in all the work, played all the trials, and won, they left me behind. I was in high school then. I remember I went home. I was crying so much. There was no one at home that day. It was just my sister. She's like, "What are you crying about?" I couldn't say. I was just crying, crying, and crying. Because I know how much work I had put in to play the trials and get qualified to travel to Egypt to represent my country on the clay court, and I grew up on the clay court. And I said this was gonna be my breakout, because on the clay court I am better. And then when I win in Egypt, next thing they taking me to South Africa. They putting me in the tennis camp, and I'm getting prepared for Europe. I had this all planned out. I had this all planned out, and I worked tirelessly. I had no money. I picked up old used balls. I picked up about 600 old used balls. I took it to a guy. He knows his name. Let's call him PA. I took it to PA. I said, PA, I haven't got any money to pay you for a coach, but I need someone to teach me. Someone to teach me something I don't know. Someone to give me encouragement to help me. I know you're a nice guy, but I just want to give you this so you can assist me. I haven't got any money, but this balls, please take these 600 balls and teach me. Yeah, I use tennis balls as currency. Tennis balls were my currency. I picked up all the tennis ball I could pick up, stored them 600 balls. I took it to PA in Police College Ikeja precisely. I gave PA 600 balls. I said, please, PA, teach me. I could have sold those balls for maybe 5,000 then or 2,000 naira then or whatever. No. Well, I had to go. I had to drive. I had to focus. I planned it all out. Every day, I went to a run twice a day before and after school. Even when I had no money, my gosh, oh God, I gotta be great. I am great. I am great. I cannot come from that place and not be great. No, I don't have no option. There's no option. There's no obstacle. There's no hoops. I've never jumped above and break it and stand in front of it and say, yeah, I am. I am great. Say to yourself, I am great. It takes greatness to be where you are today. It's not by luck. It's not by chance. Take a look at your neighborhood. There's so many people like you who never made it out. There's so many people like you who had exactly the same opportunity like you. They never made it out. But you are here today. Why? You have greatness in you. You have something in you. You have a power in you. You have a light in you. You have a fire in you. It's burning so bright. You have the sun in you. It brings summer. It brings harvest. People harvest in the summer when they see you. You have greatness in you. I could count. So many kids like myself had exactly the same opportunity. In fact, they came from a better house. They had an address. The dad had some they inherited some house from their forefathers, in Lagos. So they had an address. They had a proper house. I came from a shank, a zinc house. I slept on a mat made of straws. All till I left the house, I never slept on a bed. I slept on a mat, on the floor. But then I had greatness in me. I remember some time when I traveled tournament, the accommodation was so nice, I don't want to go home. I tell you. I remember my first time when I went to Nike and Nuga. Jesus Christ, I was like, this is heaven. I slept in a air-conditioned room. Nice bed. I had my own bathroom. Gosh. I didn't feel like going home. I didn't feel like going home. I'm like, wow, is this how it is? I gotta get used to this, man. I gotta put myself in such a place that I live in this kind of environment every single day. Every single day. Yeah. You know why? Because my greatness stuck with me. Even though when there was adversities, everything, I was crying my eyes out. My sister was like, what happened to you? I couldn't say, but my heart was broken. My heart was in pieces. It was shattered. I've worked for this thing since I was 12 years old because I knew at 14, it was Egypt tour. I like, okay, and this is on a clay court. This is my opportunity. I started planning 2 years. I think I just going to secondary school then or something, or I was in primary 1, 2 or so. I started planning 2 years for this. I went for a run every single day, 5 days a week. I ate just corn, pear and coconut from my mom's store. Corn, pear, and coconut from my mom's store. That's what I ate every single day, 5 days a week. And then I went to tennis club where it wasn't fun, picking up balls for these rich guys, and they treated you like the worst of the worst. I endured this. I walked. Finally, the trial came. I think I lost one match in that tournament because I beat every other person, and I won the trial to go to Egypt. Just like that, he left me and picked up, a son. The guy is, I know him. Yeah. Let's call him VM. They took VM, who's never played tennis. In fact, VM had a junior racket that's so small. He only played tennis every Sunday at the club. They took VM to Egypt. When I won the trial, when I won the trial, it was my goal. They took VM to Egypt. I was crying my eyes out because I've worked so hard, so hard, so hard. Then they took VM to Egypt. But that, you know, this is sometimes they say it's rejection kind of gives you protection. Rejection kind of gives you protection. So who knows what my life would have turned out if I went to that Egypt tour, made it to South Africa, and got a sports scholarship. I went to America like most other people did at that time, which was my goal. Who knows what would have happened? But because of the rejection, I became protected. I knew I wanted something different. I knew I couldn't rely on people to put my faith on people. Regardless of how hard I worked and how hard I prayed, I couldn't rely on people. I just had to rely on God. So from that rejection, I gained protection. I knew, yeah, tennis was good, but I wasn't going to put my whole eggs in that basket anymore. I was going to give it my best, but I'm always going to think about something else. From that day, I made up my mind. And I said, I wasn't 14 years old then because I was going to play under 14. I said, I will do the best. I will keep on working, but I will look for something else to go with it. I will never rely on these people anymore because they disappointed me today. They're always going to disappoint me. I cried for over a week or 2 weeks all through the duration of that whole tournament. I was in tears. I broke that I couldn't even eat. I couldn't concentrate in school. I couldn't go for a run. I was shattered. I was broken. I was in pieces. For a week, my mom didn't see me because when my mom comes back at home, it's already late. I'm asleep. So she leaves the very first thing in the morning. But she sees me most time in the afternoon when I go for a run. So I wasn't going for a run. And she was asking my dad, what happened? My sister was like, I wasn't feeling well. She was like, okay. Because that whole week, 2 weeks, I didn't go for a run. I was in a bad place. I was at the bottom of the barrel. I was down. I was shattered. I was broken. I was in pieces. But then that same thing, that greatness that God put in me came back and said, man, this is just one disappointment. Just take a look at it like it was a tournament. Yeah, you lost. Imagine if you went to that Egypt and you lose to everyone. They make fun of you that you've been saying you click out king, you click out king. That just came. Okay, let it go. Prepare for another tournament. Keep your training going. If they're not gonna pick you, you have to win the juniors yourself. And then I start planning. I've got to win under 18. Now they have no choice. I start planning 4 years ahead. From under 14 to under 18. I started planning 4 years ahead from that day. I'm like, for them to pick me, I have to win the junior tournament, and now my name has to go in the paper because now I am the champion and they have to pick me. Then if they don't pick me, people will question it. How come you're traveling and you're not going with the champion? And then I started working again. 4 years plan, like an Olympic athlete. I started planning 4 years ahead, and this was me at 13 years old, under 14. I started planning for my 18th victory. For my victory as on the 18 champion. I started planning for that at 13 years old, 5 years in advance, 4 years work. Why? Because I had greatness in me. I had something in me that said, you just jump, take the leap of faith. Get off that cliff, boy. Get off that cliff. I'm here waiting. My hands are out. God is saying, jump, jump, jump. That was me. I started planning again. I started training again. I started working hard again. And you know, in my neighborhood, there's people like me every single day, but they did what they did because they had what they had in them, and I had greatness in me. We looked alike, we looked the same, but we were far from each other. With different animal. We were different kind of animal. I had the fire in me, the bite in me. It kept me awake every single day. Every single day. I started training again. 4 years I started training. I go back to my routine. I picked myself up and I went for my runs again. Then my mom started saying me again, oh, you know, uh, Anele. And my mom called me, Adaba. You okay? Like, I'm good. And she knew. My mom didn't have to speak to me. She knows where I am each time in my heart. She just have to look at me and she knows I was back. And she smiled because she knew her son was back where he belongs. She knows. She knows. She knows. My mom calls me Ugu. Ugu in Igbo is like a kind of vegetable. It's like not vegetable in the sense of like vegetable in the sense of like you provide your own sauce. Like if you put a veg in a pan, you could cook it because then they have their own water. They could sustain themselves. So and that kind of she phrases it that way, like you could sustain yourself because I've been doing that since primary school. So she knows me. Every parent knows the kid. He knows like this. Just leave him. He will be fine. He will be fine. He has instinct. What he follows his instinct. So my mom, when he looks at me, he knows. Don't worry about him. He will be fine. He will be fine. At the same time, my mom looks at me and says, I will be fine under age 18. My mom is taking care of my most senior brother, who is like maybe 20 years older than me. My mom still looks after him, but my mom leaves me to fend for myself. Why? Because she knows I have greatness in me. Yes. My elder brother, who's probably maybe 20 years older than me, my mom still catered for him. But my mom says, you're gonna be fine. Why? She could see the greatness in me. She could see the greatness in me. So every mom knows their son. Yes. At that age, on the 13, she knew I was gonna be okay. She knew I was gonna be fine because she looked into my eyes and then she could see my soul. She looked into my eyes and then she could see my soul. She knows, son, you're gonna be fine. You are going to be fine. Because she saw the greatness in me when others didn't see. And I started training. 4 years in advance. I said I was going to win this tournament. Under 18, I'm going to win. And then when I win, you have no other choice but to take me. Because when I win, I will be in the paper. And when I'm in the paper, now people will question why you're not taking the champion to under 18. I start planning for my under 18 escape. And every day I walked, I trained, I traveled. Man. Because there was greatness in me. Greatness in me. My gosh. It's 6 o'clock now. That's my alarm that just went off. 6 o'clock. I've got to get up. My gosh. You're wonderful. Yeah. So imagine, let me tell you a story about Andy Murray. When Andy Murray was, I think it was like 500, 600 in the world. Yeah, 500, 600 in the world. Andy Murray was winning. He was winning. He was winning about 50% of his matches, 50% of the matches he played on the ITF tour. He won 50% of his matches, so he was ranked around 500, 600 in the world. And at that time, I knew a few guys, Africans, who were like, they were like top, they were like top 300 in the world. 300 in the world. Most of them were based in France. The French-speaking African. They're based in France because they came back and we played the same ITF tour together, although they were highly ranked and I was playing qualifying. But these guys were like 300 in the world. But Andy Murray was 500 in the world then. He was winning 50% of his match. And 3 years from there, 3 years from there, Andy Murray was number, I think it was top 10. Andy Murray was top 10. And just to go from top 500 in the world to top 10. So Andy Murray went from winning 50% of his matches to winning about 75% of his matches. So from winning 50% to 75%, he went from being top 500 to being top 10. Just 25% gap. 25% gap within 3 years. And you know what's crazy? Within another year or 2 years, he became number one. And from winning 75% of his matches, he went on to winning about 89% of his matches. 89% of his matches within 3 years. That took him to number one. And that's about maybe 75 to 75 to 89, there about 14-15% improvement. He had to make 14-15 improvement to go from top 10 to number one. And do you know the crazy statistics behind that was for Andy Murray to increase the margin of his winnings to go from 50% to 75, then to 89. He didn't have to do that massive amount of increasing changes. He needed incremental changes. So his consistency of winning went from 50% to 55%. So he increased his consistency of winning from 50% to 55%. And that 5% increment in his consistency of winning gave him 25% success rate. 25% success rate. So for 5% improvement on his consistency of winning gave him 25% success rate. Took him from top 500 to top 10. And he did the same again when he went from 75% to 89%, from top 10 to number one. He needed to improve his consistency of winning just by another 4-5%, and he's making a gain success rate of 15, 16, 17%. That's what it comes down to. That's what the greats do. They improve every little thing gradually, step by step, block by block. You don't just go from zero to hero. You want to blow, like my part of the world. They say you want to blow. Everyone talks about going from zero to hero. Everyone forgets about the in-between, the hidden part, the walking, the walking part, the engine. They go from zero to hero. Everyone talks about that. Why? Because you could see the state of Africa. People take advantage of others, right on the back of others. So everyone grew up thinking you can just go from hero to zero, from zero to hero. No one talks about the steps, the hard work, the days in the darkness, burning the midnight candles. No one talks about that. Everyone just wants you to go from zero to hero. No one asks any question. No question asked. Just show us the result, show us the success. We don't want to know how you came about it. Just show us the success. And that's why people living some fake lives and everything, because everyone wants to be what they're not. Instead of focusing on the skill, on the talent, on the gift God has given them, on the prayer. No. So while Andy Murray was having huge success rate. I have a lot of friends from African friends from France. They stagnated. They stagnated at 300. They never went further than that. Maximum they went 200, 100 and something. They never broke into the top 100. But Andy Murray was growing gradually, little step by step. 5% success rate increase equals 25%. Improvement. He was growing gradually, marginal steps, marginal steps. Just imagine that. Imagine if someone said to you, if you invest, if you invest, if you invest 5,000 naira or pounds, 5,000 pounds, I'm gonna give you 25% return every single day. So for every 5% and the more invested, you got 25% return. So imagine that someone says to you, if you invest 5%, five pounds or 5 naira, 5,000, I'm gonna give you 25% return every single day. I mean, you would let's not say you rob a bank. You would look for all the money you can in this world to invest. I'm not talking about betting, gambling, and that's a different thing. I mean, look up the word gamble in the dictionary. Gamble is concentration, risk, uncertainty. That's gambling. That's not. I'm not talking about someone saying, I you know I bet I could give you 25. No, that's gambling. And gambling is killing a lot of people these days, because they don't want to put in the work. They don't want to build the blocks. They forget the little squares, the little circles. No, they don't want to do that. They want to go from zero to hero in a day. They rely on luck. They forget the gift, the talent. No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about building blocks, little by little, step by step. That's what I'm talking about. So someone comes in and say, guarantee, sure as day. Give me 5,000. I'm gonna give you 25% every day. And you will look for that money. You would borrow for that. You go get a loan for that money, because you guaranteed 25% return. So for every 5% and the more he puts in, he gets 25% return. For every 4% or 3% he puts in, he gets 15% return. Imagine if that was you and that was going on day by day, hour by hour, minute by minute, years by years. How would he not grow? How would he not become number one? How would he not become the best player this island has to offer? And you know what? He didn't come from some Chelsea address or some Kensington address or from some address in Surrey. Now, yeah, he lives in Surrey now, but he didn't start off from Surrey. He started off from Dublin, back behind somewhere in Scotland. Dublin. That's where he started from. Because greatness does not care about your dress. Greatness does not care about where you started from. Greatness knew where you're going to, and it lights the path for you. He said, follow me, my son. Follow me, my son. That's greatness. He calls your name, and you keep ignoring that every single day. And he calls your name, and again. I said, look, I'm tired, man. I'm going to get a journey down the street. You are not ready. Do you want to say to greatness, I'm not ready? God, all you've given me, I can do nothing with it. I'm not ready. Is that what you want to say? I'm not ready. When you put it in the hour, when I was going for that run every single day, in my head I was saying, I am ready. I am ready. I am ready. I am ready for what it did to me. I have to become great. I have to let them see my success has to shine. Why? Because the rejection gave me projection. The rejection gave me projection. It gave me the fight. It gave me the battle. It made me battle ready. I love it when I go to the gym now. They say the battle ropes. I love the battle ropes, man. I love like burning some calories and losing some weight. So one of my favorite exercises, I don't know. I think I might have invented this exercise. It's called battle rope and quick steps. Battle rope and quick step. I don't see anyone doing it, and I do that every time to burn some. When I know I have to burn some calories instantly, and I do the battle rope and quick steps, man, it kills you. Battle rope and quick step. That's my exercise. And then I train some kettlebells and I come in after the gym. I'm so burnt, man. Like I'm so burnt. I'm so pumped. That's it. Battle rope. I was ready for battle. I said, no, you couldn't do this to me again. You couldn't do this to me again. No, no. So when I went for this run, very early in the morning, in the middle of the night, sometimes I couldn't sleep. I woke up. I went for night runs in the jail. There was this dogs chasing me. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna learn from this. Is that this dog catches me, bites me, or I learned my speed? I went for a run. There was some aggressive dogs in GRA. Yes, I went for a run. A few times I was chased by those dogs. I knew where they are. I prepared myself. That was my sprinting. I beat that into my training, my sprint. I beat that into my training. So I'm jogging, and I get to that area. I said, get prepared, bitch. Get prepared, bitch. They're gonna come for you. They're gonna come for you. They're gonna come for you. Are you ready? Are you ready? I said, I'm ready. I'm ready. Let's go. Let's go. And before you know, bam, the dog comes. Wow, wow, wow. I'm like, come on, man. Let's go. And it's chasing me. I'm sprinting. And it's chasing me. I'm sprinting. And it's chasing me. I'm sprinting. And this goes on for 2, 3, 4 minutes. And when the dog stops. I'm like, yeah. Then I feel my heart pumping. Because that time I'm trying to escape. Because I know if the dog catches me, it's gonna bite me. And I do that every single day. So if I can do that every single day, put my life on the line for the dog to bite me. Why? Because I knew the greatest in me was bigger than that dog. It was bigger than that street. It was bigger than my environment. It was bigger from where I came from. It was bigger than my address. It was bigger than my address. I knew I had to be great. I had to get out. I had to be alive. I had to set an example. I had to touch somebody. I had to touch somebody. God. Because the greatness was in me. Even when I had no address, greatness came looking for me. Came looking for me. Greatness, it left all this big building, all this massive building, sky rises. It came into my ghetto. It came into my hood. It came into my shank while I was sleeping on the floor, on the straw, on the mat. And it poked me in the head. Said, get up, boy, get up. Get up. Don't sleep. I didn't put you here to sleep. No. Go for a run. Go hit some tennis ball. Read some book. You are great. You are great. Take a look at those houses we've seen, Jerry. You're going to live in those one day and you're going to own it. No rent, you're going to own it. Why? Because I put greatness in you. And why? Because I want to use you an example to touch others. God, I say, use me, God. That's my prayer every day. Today when I wake up, I say, God, use me. Use me to touch people. Send me back to touch people. Send me back to touch people. I want to let people see that you put greatness in them, regardless of their dress, regardless of what they came from, regardless of what they did. Let their light shine. Let their light shine. God, use me. Use me. If you put him in this life and you want me to satisfy my whole living in this world, use me to lift another person. Use me to lift another person. I don't care what I get or don't get in this world. It's no use to me. You put greatness in me. That's what most important to me. And I want to touch someone else. I want to help someone else. I want to bring someone else and say, look, you've got to be great. You've got to be great. You've got to be something. You can't just die recklessly. You can't just die in a comfort zone. You can't just die in the ghetto. You can't just die in the shank. Look at your house. I grew up in this house and I became something. You can become something. You can be great. If you put your might away, you can be great. You can be great. You can sprint. You can run. You can shout. You can see. You can talk. You can jump. Come on. What else do you need? What else do you need? God is already giving you the gift, but come on. Come on. Don't use the letter C as an excuse, man. Don't use the letter C as an excuse. That's not good. That's not you. There's G in you. G for good. G for great. G for God. G. A big G. That is greatness. And it found you right where you were born in your mom's womb. It was there with you. Sitting side by side, having a discussion, having an afternoon tea. I bet you're having an afternoon tea in your mom's room. I mean, as some people think I'm English, I love tea so much because I don't drink any other thing, alcohol of any other kind, nothing. My drinks is just tea, and coffee, man. I bet in my mom's room I was drinking tea. Or maybe it was like, who knows, like, there's been around all those rich folks, You're rubbed off for me. I love tea. Yeah. And we're right there in your mom's room. You're sitting side by side with greatness, having some afternoon tea, and some cup of scones and some cream and jam. Who knows? Who knows? My gosh. My gosh, man. Life is good. Life is good when you live life to the fullest. When you call, when you serve, when you do what God has put you on this planet to do. There's no joy greater than that. Have you ever imagined every day you're sitting there doing something and you're thinking about something else? I make so much mistake in something else right now. I don't want to say it because it pays my bills. You know why? Because every single time I sit there, I am thinking about some other thing. I am never in that place when I was meant to be there. I have gone through so many notes. I've put some blue tags. There's notes all around me for me to check, sense check, do this. Every single day, every single day, I'm making repeated mistake. And you know what they say? You can make a mistake once, it's forgivable. But to repeat the same mistake over and over is unforgivable. And you know what? I do that over and over. You know why? Because I'm doing something I should not be doing in the first place. Why? Because there's greatness in me. God is saying to me, son, if you don't do this, I'm going to make a fool of you in this place every single day. You've got to get out and do what I called you to do. Why? Why you got to get out here and do it? Get out there and do what I sent you to do in this earth. I didn't send you to do that. No. How can you impact people's life with that? No. How can you leave legacy on that? No. 10, 15 years from now, you'll be out there, and the people you love touch would never be touched because you refuse to do what I sent you. So he's forcing me every day. Like, boy, go out and do what I sent you to do. Help people, touch people, lift people, tell people your story, let them see. And I'm trying to build myself around this, improve, work, learn different skills, which is good. But then this is not what I was called to do. This is not what I was called to do. No, that's not what I was called to do. I was called here to help people, to lift people up, to tell people my story, to let them see they can become what they want to be. And that's greatness in me, to use it, to work for God. That's my prayer every day. God, use me. God, use me. And he must be looking at me and say, son, I will smack your face if you say that one more time, because I am using you and you're refusing to jump and you're asking me to use you. You're on the edge every day saying, God, use me. And I like, you take the step, do the work. You've done the work. Why are you not jumping? Why are you not jumping, son? I will smack you in the face. I bet God must be saying that to me. I will smack you right in the face now because you've done the work here. And if you jump, I'm going to catch you. But why are you still on the edge? Why are you still on the edge? Every day asking me, son, don't call my name again. I bet he must be saying that to me, son, don't call my name again. Because you call me every day on the edge. I turn around, you're still on the edge. Jump, I will catch you. You know that. You said, I told you, praying is for me, work is for you. Why are you not jumping? Why are you not jumping? Because you've done the work. You've done the work. I saw you started doing the work age 13, age 12, age 11. Why are you not jumping now that it's time to jump? That's the same thing in your life. Some of you have done the work. You've put in hours and hours and hours. Be it a relationship, it's time to change. Be it your career, it's time to change. Be anything you wanted to do, you've put in the time. It was time to kick it in. It's time to leave. It's time to change. But why? You remain there. You stay there. You twiddling your thumb. You thinking about what would happen, what would happen. This life would happen. You would still be alive, and you will have time to make changes. If you take the wrong step, you have time to make changes. You rather try than know than never know. Regret comes from not doing. Regret comes from not doing. Everything you do, you've done. Everything you're going to do, it has happened already. But regret is gonna come from the jump you never took, from the experience you never experienced, you never saw. That's where your regret is gonna come from, not from the things you do. You either you fail or you win. Try, you learn from that. But the things you never do, they sit with you for the rest of your life. The rest of your life. The rest of your life. I'm gonna tell you a story now about when I was in university in Scotland. To pay for my school fees and everything, I worked in a care home. I taught tennis, and I worked in a care home with elderly people, which was great. And then I worked with care home with kids with special disabilities and stuff. And most time when I sit with these old people, some have got dementias and some haven't, and we'll have a conversation. Some are filled with regrets. Some are filled with regrets. Sometimes they're having a conversation like when they are dementias. Some have got dementias, but when that clears up, we're having a conversation. So that you could see them living in regret, some crying, because everything just floats back to them like, wow, I should have done this, I should have done that. Some of them live with regrets. And why some live peacefully? They've achieved, accomplished everything they needed to do. Don't let that be you. Yeah, that was a great experience. I spent like, I can't remember now, 5, 6, 7 or 8 years, no, 5, 6 years or so, working in the care homes, looking after old people while I have to go to university as well. After that, to pay my bills, to pay my rent, to sustain myself. Yeah, and I spent a lot of time working with these people. And you know why? I could see regret in some people's eye. Like, this is what I should have done. Don't let that be you. Take the leap. Take the leap of faith. If you've done the work, if you've done the marginal increase every day, little by little, step by step. And that's what it is. I remember when I started reading books. Man, after I left uni, I said, I'm not going to read any books anymore. And then I had to do my chartered accountancy. Then I focused on that. I chased that. I walk. Once I got, I'm like, that's it. I'm done. No more books. Now, I've reached the peak of my career. No more books. Now, I've got some letter behind my name. ACC here. I've arrived. And every day you go to just looking at me joking like, son, what are you talking about? You've arrived. You've not even actually started. You've not started. I focus on my career. I was going to be the best I can. After a while, the satisfaction was not there. I was getting paid well, good car, good house, everything. But the hunger was there. Not for sitting in front of the desk, touching people. Every weekend when I went to teach tennis, I saw the joy I had in helping someone. I saw the joy, the peace, the satisfaction. I wasn't getting that from sitting on my desk. I knew I had to change. I knew something must be done. And I picked up a book, said I was going to read. Now I have to teach myself. Then, I think I was riding on a train that day. I was going to work in a restaurant. Man, my life is some crazy story. Yeah, I spent some time working in the kitchen as well, in the restaurant, the kitchen, yeah. So I think that day I was riding home, and then, I picked up a paper, the metro or something, the train. And there was a story about, some African migrants and something, how it ended up in, America and, from Somali. Yeah. And I said to myself, I'm going to read some book. I should be reading some book, man. Yeah. I should learn about something different. Other than just my accountancy thing, And I think that day I came And I know I picked up a book and to read a book. It was so difficult. I couldn't even actually put out my phone or because I was consuming so much social media time. Time was just passing through me. It was so difficult that day to just put down everything and just read a book. It was difficult. Then I said to myself, okay, then if it's that difficult, you think you've accomplished this whole thing in accountancy, but you can't even read a book. I said, okay, why not start and just reading? If you're that lazy, read one word a day, just one word a day. And then from one word, I want to read in 2 words, and then to a sentence, and then to a paragraph, and then to a page. Okay, if I can read a page a day, I read 2 pages a day. Yeah, why not read 2 pages a day? Give yourself half an hour maximum, Then I was reading 2 pages a day. And after a while, like, okay, now let's just do it. Give yourself half an hour to read. Whatever you read in that half an hour, that's it. Set an alarm. So I could get back to my social media and whatnot. Yeah, so I set my alarm. I have to read half an hour every day. If I read 2 pages in half an hour, that's fine. If I read 5 pages, that's fine. If I read 10, whatever I could do in the half an hour, I was reading for half an hour every single day. So I wasn't counting the pages anymore. I was just going up against the time. And then before you knew it, I was so, entrenched in the book. I upped my time from an hour, so for half an hour to an hour. So it's like read for an hour every single day. Yeah. Read for 1 hour every single day. So now I was reading for an hour. And going from 2 pages, I was reading 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 pages sometime for an hour. I'm a slow reader. I know that, man. Yeah, I'm a slow reader. I'm not a fast reader. I have to read some, put it in my head and process it. And just like I do in life, I don't just come out with, no, I always process things, then give me time. That's me. That's my way. Yeah. So now I was reading for an hour every day, 5 days a week. Saturday and Sunday, I went to play tennis. Well, Monday to Friday, 1 hour a day after work, some exercise. I read for an hour a day. Then it was fine to do whatever I wanted to watch TV or, yeah. And then I carried that on for years. And I said, when I finished reading the story, I'm like, wow, this is a nice story. I'm like, I bet I could write myself if I put my mind to it. But that doubt came. Oh, do you know how to write? Look at look at authors. They're all, professors and whatnot. What can you write? Write you? Come on, boy, stop that. Who do you know in your life that's ever written a book or even mentioned in a book? Talk about writing. Stop that. Stop that. And I said to myself, look, if I can read a word a day, I bet I can write a word a day. Yeah, just one word. It doesn't need a title. It doesn't have to be a fancy story. Just write about, what I know, what I've read, people I know, people I met through my travels. Yeah, just write about that. And that's how I started. I wrote one word a day. And before you know, it was 2. Before you know, it was a sentence. Before you know, it was a paragraph. Before you know, it was a page. Then I was now writing a page a day. Then 2 pages a day. Then 3 pages a day. Right now, sometimes I'm writing 14 pages a day. Sometimes I'm writing 14 pages a day. I mean, I've written 2 books already. They're not published. I'm still typing them, working them out. But that's how I've progressed within 2 years of reading to writing 2 books within a year. 2 years I was reading. The first year I was reading. The next one I started writing. So let's say within 2 years, I've written 2 books. Just a kid who could never actually read, who didn't read anything. Now writing 14 pages a day sometimes. That's how great God is. If you put your mind to something, as they say, the universe gives it to you. Because the universe is there to work with you. Same energy flow. A stream does not flow against itself. They flow in one direction. So your universe wants to align its energy with you. So when you give into the universe, it carries you. It flows in the same direction. Life becomes a lot easier. It's like you're floating in the air. God is beneath you. It gives you wing. When you align yourself, when you reach that peak, when you touch that greatness in you God is giving to you, life becomes so easy. Life becomes so memorable. Life becomes so rewarding. Life becomes amazing. Life becomes amazing for you. Life becomes amazing when you give into yourself and touch what God is giving you. Yeah. I'm doing my audiobooks now because this audiobooks thing started because I couldn't sleep. I was having 4 hours sleep every night, maximum for 3-4 years. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't sleep, and there's no way, nothing I did that could, you know. I ran. I sometimes I went on my bike for 2 hours, then I went for an hour run just to tire myself out. When I came back, I slept for 2 hours and I was awake the whole night. And I have to wake up and function again properly, go to work and do the same thing like every other person. 4 hours of sleep, I still get that now. So I have to resort to doing this, speaking my mind out to something. That's why if you listen to most of my tape, you can hear it's in the middle of the night. I'm actually sleeping. And then I wake up in the middle of my sleep and then I just keep speaking and then it carries on. Because why? I've tried everything. MSL, listen to different kind of songs. I still listen to music. I still listen to books. Nothing. Nothing. Because the mind is heavy. The mind is heavy. God says that thing in you, if you're not going to use it, I'm not going to let you sleep. That's it. If you're not going to do my work, I'm not going to let you sleep. If you're not going to jump, then no sleep for you, son. No sleep for you. I gave you greatness and you hiding it, you covering it, you burying it on the soil like the servant who his master gave one talent and he decided to hide it, and when his master came back, he's like, Master, I hid the talent you gave me. Now here you go, take it back. That's from the Bible. Read the Bible, the holy book. Yeah, that's it. He's saying to me, if you're gonna hide your talent, then I'm not going to let you sleep. You have to use what I gave you. Why? Because there's power in you. There's more in you. There's some other person there hiding somewhere. I want you to go touch them. You cannot touch them sitting on your desk typing A to B. No, you can touch them by doing what I have called you to do. Use your story to touch people, lift people up, give people hope. Let people know they can grow just by doing 5%, they could be reaping 25%. Just by doing 3%, they could be reaping 15%. Teach people projection, rejection to projection. Teach people how you survive, how you escape, how you made it out. And that's not even all my stories. When I tell you my story, it will contain 10 books. I tell you 10 books. There'll still be more. That's just me. And now I haven't even started talking about my mates, my friends, people I know. No. So how can you just stay there? I want to cover this up. God says, no. If you don't give me what I gave you to touch other people, sleep, I'm going to take that from you. So I don't sleep. For you, I try to sleep. Sleep is important. It's a life source. But God, He makes me function, all right? Which says that sleep, no, not now, not just now. Probably you're going to sleep later, but not just now. So that's greatness. What's great in you? Find your greatness. Work on it. Incremental. For every 1% you invest in yourself, I promise you will reap 10. Just like when you sow, you reap more. You put one kernel in the soil, it gives you abundance of corn. That's it. That's what life is. Invest in yourself. Work on yourself. Work on yourself. And how can you do that? There's so many things out there. Learn from people's experience. They're all in different books, all in different places. You cannot rely on your own experience alone. You cannot. You have to reach out and touch someone. You have to reach out and touch someone. You have to reach out. I remember the day I told my friend I was going to write a book. In fact, it wasn't my friend. I told my landlady I was going to write a book. told her I was gonna write a book, and then she came home. One day from work, I was in the kitchen writing. She was laughing, and she and the other housemate, they're like, "Oh, is this what is it they called me again? There's this author they called me. Yeah, they're making fun of me. They're making fun of like he's gonna write because they were looking at where I came from. Like he's gonna write him. What is he gonna write about? That's because they couldn't see the greatness. They couldn't see the greatness. They couldn't see the gift. Yeah, they said Rhoda. Yeah, they said that's Rhoda. I remember clearly. They said they called me Rhoda for the rest of my duration in that property. They called me Rhoda. Rhoda said he's gonna write a book. But Rhoda is not special. He's just like you, a human. God gave him something and he utilized it. He used it. So why? Why is he more than you? Why is he more than me? He is just same as you. God gave him exactly what he's giving you today, but he has decided to take the leap of faith. He never knew if he was going to sell a book, or he never conducted any kind of any kind of you know polls to know if he's going to sell or not. No, he just made this book and put it out there. Buy it if you want. Don't buy if you want. What's the difference between you and him? What's the difference in your field? What's the difference between you and your boss? Why are they on the top floor and you hiding somewhere? They've decided to do some incremental progress. For every 1% they put in, they get 10%. For every 1% they put in, they get 10%. For every 1% they invested, 10% reward. 1% expense, 10% income. That's the difference now between you and them. That's the difference. So you like where they are, you're happy, you want to be there. Are you ready to put in the 1%? Are you ready to put in the 1%? Marginal. It's called marginal. It's unrecognizable, very small changes. You just have to grow. Is it your communication? Is it your skill? Is it your Excel skills? Is it your attitude? A lot of people I know, the biggest obstacle in their life is attitude. Are you working on your attitude? Are you making changes? Are you looking yourself in the mirror and saying, accept myself. I'm gonna die here. I wanna grow. When you look in your mirror, what do you see? Or have you stopped looking in the mirror totally because you can't stand yourself? I went through a stage where I couldn't even look in the mirror. I couldn't look in my eyes. It's like I saw my soul. I couldn't do that. I was so ashamed of myself. I had all this in me. I had all this I've been through. From the gutters in Lagos to the top university in Scotland on my own, pushing myself, studying with some great mind, pushing myself night and day, going to work at night, going to school during the day. For 5 years, I did that. And then I want to give up now? No. God didn't make me that. I remember when I was 13 years old, fighting, knowing that I was going to win on the 18th tournament. I planned 4 years ahead, just like on an Olympic trainer, 4 years ahead. And now you want to give up? No. Because you're being comfortable, you have a house, you have a car, and that's it. That's all you've come to this earth to do. Live in a house and drive a car. Come on, man. Come on. What about if Andy Murray stopped when he got to top 10 and said, yeah, now I'm winning, 75% of the matches. That's fine. What about if Steph Curry stopped shooting when he made like 20 free throws in a row? He's like, no, I'm not going to hit 77 because I don't need it. 20 is good. I'm going to stop here. What about if LeBron James stopped moving, said like, look, I'm gonna get off Cleveland and go win some rings and then come back? What about if he gave up there? That what about if Fela Kuti never went back home and said, I'm gonna fight for my people, I'm gonna set up people, I'm gonna set up the Egypt 80s, I'm gonna create a new sound called Afrobeat. I'm gonna take all I've learned around the world and I'm gonna match them into something and make a special beat called Afrobeat. What about if he gave up when he came to London? He ended up in all these houses and he was content. You know why? Because he faced some rejection and that rejection projected him. He wanted more. That's what winners do. That's what winners do. They let the rejection project them. It's like a fuel. It's like a fuel. It burns brighter. It shoots them out to the space. What's burning inside you? What's keeping you awake? Look inside you. You've got something. You've got something inside you. There's something that keeps you awake. There's something you'll be willing to do. There's something you say to yourself, I'm going to do tomorrow. You know what? Today is tomorrow. Today is yesterday's tomorrow. Do it today. Like I go, every time you listen to adverts, they're trying to catch you say, today, now, limited stock. Do it right now. Do it right now. Listen to those commercials. When they're trying to get you to sign up to something, they say, do it now. We've got limited stock. We're not going to be here tomorrow. Do it now. Do it right. Yeah. Stop putting it back to tomorrow. Tomorrow is here. You said that tomorrow. You said that yesterday. And yesterday's tomorrow is today. You are here today. There's no more tomorrow. Do it now. It's like Little Busy, Rari said, do it now in his Rari song, Little Busy. Do it now. Do it now. Do it right. Do it now. Don't wait for anything. Little Busy, Rari workout. Rari workout. He said, do it now. Do it now. Don't wait for anything. Do it now. Rari workout. Listen to that song. That song gets me going. Rari workout. Do it now. Do it on set. Don't wait. Do it now. Rari workout. Do it now. For everything you've been through, everything you've gone through is for this moment, is for this minute, is for this hour. Your time has come. Your time has come. Do it now. Your time has come. This is the joyous time. This is all you've been planning for. This is all you've been put on this earth for. To be great. Be like those who's found their calling. Be like the Serena Williams, the LeBron James, the Tiger Woods, Roger Federer, Michael Jordan, Bill Gates, Fela Kuti, Oprah Winfrey, Mariah Carey, Curtis Jackson, Jay-Z, Beyonce, Wizkid, Burna Boy, Davido. All those who's found their calling, be like them. They have something in them and they went after it day after day, day after day, day after day, until they stepped on there and they're like, yeah, I've arrived. And when they arrive, they never stop working. They stop pushing. They recently, Wizkid and Burna Boy just won Grammy. Come on, man. Come on. Wizkid and Burna Boy just won a Grammy. Does that not inspire you? Does that not tell you something? There is greatness in you. There is greatness in you. I remember when Burna Boy used to have so much problem running from the cops, running from the law, fighting people. Some of his fans or himself sending someone to beat up someone in a hotel, whatever. I remember that. But there was greatness in him. Today he has a Grammy. What's your Grammy waiting for you in your field? What's your Grammy you ignoring? What's your Grammy turning you back to say, I'm not ready, I'm not ready, I'm not ready? But that boy left UK and went back to Nigeria because he had the calling. He had the calling. He had to do something. His skill was in him. It was time to go. It was time to go. He had no other choice. He became restless, like I am now. I became restless. I could not sleep because I know there's something in me that was bigger than me. There was something in me that was bigger than me. I could not. I speak for hours and hours and hours. Do you know? I used to have like 100 audios. I speak for hours and hours and I delete that thing because why? I hated to listen to myself. Because I was so scared of myself, so ashamed of myself. I could not turn to listen to my own voice. I spoke for hours and hours like this. If I never read book, if I never went back to reading book, you would never have heard this voice. I tell you, I promise you. I recorded for hours and hours because I couldn't sleep. And then I deleted the thing because I couldn't listen to it. I was ashamed of me. But now you're hearing this because I've decided to jump. I've decided to leap. Yes, I'm not soaring like the eagle. I'm not soaring like the eagle. Yeah, and that's why you can hear it. So I'm saying this to you now. I'm saying this to you now. Don't let nothing hold you back. Don't let nothing hold you back. God gave you a gift. God gave you a gift. God made you different. God made you amazing. And God said, walk and live the prayer for me. So I walk every day. I walk every day, and I've been doing this since I was 12 years old. Primary school, even going back down before I got to 12 years old, from primary school, from primary 4. I've been self-sustaining from primary 4. Who does that? And now I'm saying I can be great. Who does that from primary 4? Self-sustaining. My mom knows this. She knows from primary 4 I have been sustaining myself. Who does that? And now I'm here. I'm saying I can't go no further. I've given in. I've reached my peak. No! I gotta be great. I gotta be great. I gotta help someone. I gotta help someone. I gotta touch someone. I gotta tell someone, look right and be right. Use your talent. Use your skill. Don't be ordinary. Don't be average. Be great. Be great. I'm gonna leave 7. What time is it now? Yeah, 6:50. Man, 6:50. I've been speaking for an hour. On about 38 minutes or so. So now I'll leave you with this. I've got to go. I'll leave you with this. If something is keeping you awake, day after day, night after night, but you're busy chasing someone else, something else, busy trying to be like another person, you're never gonna get to your destination. You're never gonna get to your destination. You probably just wallow away, and when you know it's time to turn around, it's probably too late. Don't be an average Joe. Don't be an average Joe. Be great. Think about people who've made incremental changes. I still refer to Moray. If you know where Dublin is in Scotland, then you would know greatness would find you wherever you are. If you know where I came from, Abule, in Ikeja, then you know greatness will find you. Les Brown said he slept in some dustbin in Omaha, Ohio or something for 2 weeks. A professional working in an office for 2 weeks sleeping in a bin. Why? Because there was greatness in him. That thing that was in him stopped him from quitting. He was sleeping in a trash can for 2 weeks, waking up, washing up, going to work. Why? Because there was greatness in him that stopped him from giving in. Like every other person, getting an average job, becoming an average Joe. Find the greatness in you. Find the greatness in what they say. He that is in you is greater than he that is in the world. He that is in you, that's the greatness in you. The God in you is greater than every other thing around you. Find it, use it. Don't be average, don't be normal, don't be standard. You are more than that. You're unique, you're special. Find your greatness.